why you and I actually do like potassium and why it is important to keep it in there. And
an article in 2022, September 2022, athletes and they're drinking their Gatorade. Potassium ended up on the naughty list.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to the Kidney Coach YouTube channel. I am naturopath Fiona Chin and co-founder of Cardiovascular and the Kidney Disease Solution. And I'm joined again today by the beautiful Jessianna Saville. She is a renal dietitian and expert in all things diet and kidney related. But let's start with, what is potassium and why in old school thinking has it thought to be a problem related to kidney disease?
So potassium is a mineral, specifically an electrolyte. So if you think about athletes and they're drinking their Gatorade, and why are they doing it? It's because those electrolytes are needed for nerves and muscles to function correctly. Now, potassium ended up on the naughty list for kidney disease, actually rather unscientifically. There was no science behind it. It was more logic in how the kidneys work, that it started becoming a demonized nutrient and being pulled out of people's diets and being recommended by doctors, dietitians, lots of professionals, that people with kidney disease needed to cut their potassium out. But what more of the evidence is showing now is that actually, even if you have kidney disease, well, some people need to be conscientious of it, but the majority of people actually don't need to restrict potassium.
Let's go through why you and I actually do like potassium and why it is important to keep it in there unless, you've got a proper potassium issue.
Okay, so to do this, I'm going to pull from the Journal of the American Society of Nephrology, a very reputable peer-reviewed journal. I think they do great articles, and they had an article in 2022, September 2022. This is like 2 months ago.
So most recent article.
Yeah, it's not an old article. I feel like this is really good, and they had a super great figure, and I wanted to go through this.
Right.
So I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen. But this is from Dr. Turker, Saritas, and McDonough, which I think are actually in New Zealand. So not, kind of your guys' neighbors down there.
Yeah.
Down under. But they have this great chart here, which the title of it is Proposed Pathways Through Which Potassium Supplementation and Potassium-Rich Diets Can Help to Reduce Cardiovascular and Kidney Disease. So they're actually making the claim in this paper that potassium is a nutrient that can actually help prevent kidney disease. That is so mind-blowing for so many people, that it actually can be a preventative, helpful mineral if you have kidney disease, because that's not what you hear. In fact, it's like so wild, it almost like feels wrong, but it's true, right? This is this is recent. But look at these 6 different pathways where they talk about. Now, I don't think I've maybe once in a blue moon recommended potassium supplementation. Every once in a while for metabolic acidosis, but I want to think about this from a potassium-rich diet. The recommendation in the States is like more than 4,500 milligrams, and no one meets that ever. It's really, really kind of crazy, but that's what you should get. So here's a couple of thoughts here. So blood pressure. Now this one we already know. All the science on blood pressure, if you look at the DASH diet, Mediterranean diet, whatever, they saw the greatest benefit in blood pressure reduction on a sodium modified high potassium diet. So where blood pressure is such a huge punch on the kidneys, it's really a big hit if your blood pressure stays high. If you're taking out potassium from your diet, which can help modify that and help, you actually can be hurting yourself, right? You could actually be causing more harm than good. But it helps with your urinary sodium excretion. And I love that, right? That potassium and sodium have this inverse relationship. So potassium actually helps you get sodium out. So really helpful there. And it helps with this vascular tone decrease. So blood pressure, number one place that a potassium-rich diet can be helpful. Risk of stroke decreases atherosclerosis. Again, here's blood pressure, it goes down. On osteoporosis, you see that a higher potassium diet is going to buffer the acids. It's going to decrease your urinary calcium excretion. So you're not going to be pouring calcium into your blood, which also causes cardiac issues for people with kidney disease. But also you can be able to keep your bone strong. Like bone mineral disease is a huge deal in kidney disease. So potassium helps balance that out, right? It helps keep even your bones strong. Nephrolithiasis, right? So these are your kidney stones. Potassium is a huge part of preventing kidney stones. And I believe you had Dr. Wimes on here a little while back. He loves to talk about kidney stones and like how important the minerals and the citrate are. But if you just look at kidney stones, if you have a potassium-rich diet, right, you're going to have a decrease in this urinary calcium and this urate excretion, which is huge, not just because kidney stones are incredibly painful, but because more kidney stones is also linked to a higher prevalence of kidney disease. So, which makes sense, it's got a sharp shard-like, rock in your kidneys is going to cause some damage if you have them over and over and over again. You're also going to increase your urinary citrate excretion. Cardioprotection with high potassium diets, again, like you look at some of the research on Mediterranean diets, DASH diets, where there's tons of fruits and vegetables, decrease arrhythmia, decrease heart attack, decrease mortality, like people are living longer. And this is the #1 cause of death in kidney disease, right? Cardiovascular. So huge. And then just on progression of kidney disease, so many people, everybody that is diagnosed with kidney disease wants to keep their kidneys strong. They don't want to end up on dialysis. If they can avoid a transplant, they want to avoid that and just keep their native kidneys. Yeah. So if you look at potassium, right there, it decreases metabolic acidosis, which is a driver of kidney disease. It decreases inflammation and fibrosis. I think fibrosis is probably one of the hardest things to tackle in kidney disease. One thing I really love about your products is it tackles that fibrosis angle. But potassium, it's one of the nutrients that can help tackle that. So this is my case. I think we should be very, very cautious of when we exclude potassium, because it is a wonderful, important mineral to keep in our diet.
Jessianna, thanks again. I always appreciate your brain and just your input and all of those sort of things. So thanks for joining us. Now, remember, if you want more information about Jessianna and her team, I'll put it down below. Make sure you hit subscribe. That means you'll get notified anytime we put out new content, and you can also head to our Facebook page as well. Thanks for being part of our community. Again, thanks, Jessianna, so much for your contribution to everything that we're doing, and we look forward to talking to you next time. Bye.
Bye-bye.